The Martian has saved us! After decades of living among humanity, the alien known as Jon J'onzz was recruited by the Guardian of Earth to become his apprentice. Together with his rival, Garlic, Jon pushed himself to new heights and earned the right to become the new Guardian. However, this relationship takes a dark turn as Garlic, bitter and torn over the loss of the title of Kami, leads a demonic rebellion. The two former allies clash, resulting in the Martian ultimately defeating Garlic and his army, but at what cost? Following the battle, Jon accepts his role as Kami. Will the Manhunter be able to keep his promise and protect the Earth? Find out now. A Legend Reborn. What if Martians were in Dragon Ball? Part 2. Our story begins on a day like any other. Kami had his eyes closed, watching over the Earth with his various godly and alien senses, as Popo was busy watering his plants. It had been several hundred years since Jon had accepted the role of Kami, and things were relatively peaceful, although humanity would continue to go to war with themselves every few decades or so. There was never another apocalyptic event since Garlic's demonic invasion. Garlic. Kami sighed. Remembering his old friend was still very painful. No matter how many years passed, the wounds in his heart were still fresh. The god never truly forgave himself for failing to save his friend, even after everything he had done. Suddenly, Kami's eyes bolted open as Popo looked up at the sky. Kami! Do you sense that? Indeed I can. Could it be? Someone enter Earth's atmosphere. This key wasn't extraordinarily high, but it clearly wasn't like anything else from Earth. Kami's heart was beating fast. Was this an alien? Just like him? Kami takes a deep breath, recomposing himself as he decides to peer into the mortal realm. With his omniscient sight, Kami witnesses what was happening down on Earth. A space pod crash-landed near Mount Poutsu and was discovered by an elderly old man. Inside the pod was merely a baby boy, a rather rowdy boy, but ultimately harmless nonetheless. Kami watched on as the old man decided to adopt the boy and raise him as his own. The god decides to keep a close eye on the child, not yet sure if it would become a threat or not. For the next few years, Kami pays close attention to Mount Poutsu, witnessing the old man known as Gohan attempt to raise the boy with great difficulty. However, the boy's personality takes a sharp turn after falling off a ravine and nearly cracking his head open. Kami was surprised. He didn't expect the boy to survive the fall, let alone become so sweet. He was glad that the alien, now named Son Goku, was growing to become such a nice, kind lad. Kami even wondered to himself if he should stop monitoring Goku. He couldn't possibly hurt a fly, let alone people. However, this perception was changed forever when, one night, under the light of a full moon, Kami witnessed something horrifying. The nice, sweet boy he had watched over the years had transformed into a giant, rampaging monster. Kami looked on in horror as the giant monkey tore Mount Poutsu apart. He saw the elderly Gohan try his best to defend himself and keep the monster busy the entire night. Kami clutched his staff, nearly breaking it. Should he intervene? His heart was compelling him to leave and save Gohan's life, but his vow as a guardian to not interfere in the mortal realm was compelling him to stay. As Kami continued to struggle with his thoughts, he felt something disappear. The monster had stomped on Gohan, killing him. Kami gritted his teeth. Because of his self-doubt, a good, honest man was gone, and now an enormous beast was about to continue its rampage. Kami bent his knees, ready to take off to battle, but he stopped. As the morning sun rose into view, Kami saw that the giant monster had started to shrink, reverting back into a little boy. The god watched on as the young Son Goku looked around in confusion, finding his grandfather's body and mourning deeply for his loss. This young child, he had no idea what just happened. He was innocent, still pure of heart. Kami couldn't bring himself to end Goku. He deserved to have a chance at life, just like anyone else. He thinks back to Garlic, in the potential for good his rival had, and how his life could have been much different if he had been able to accept his second chance. Kami vows to continue watching over Goku, promising to himself that he won't repeat the mistakes of the past, and instead allow this stranger from outer space to thrive here. However, that transformation was still a big problem. Kami decided it would be best to not let that happen again. He reaches into the young boy's mind one night while he was sleeping, appearing in his dreams in the form of his grandpa. Kami warned Goku about looking at the moon at night, or else a monster would appear. The young Goku happily agreed, hugging the god as he yells out how glad he is to see him again. Kami didn't feel right in manipulating Goku like this, but it was necessary in order to protect the world. And at least, it did bring some comfort to the young boy. Several months pass on by without another major monstrous incident. Many miles away, towards the sea, an old hermit sleeps lazily on his sofa. It's at this point that his phone rings as he crawls over to pick up the phone. A loud, booming voice shouts out of the phone, telling the old master he needs to stop sleeping until 4 in the afternoon. This old man was none other than the invincible Master Roshi, and the man on the other end of the phone was his master, the indomitable Master Mutaito. In this timeline, there was no mortal war against demonkind. Mutaito and his dojo continued to live on and thrive, although Mutaito was content with living his life naturally and dying peacefully. He realized he just couldn't leave this earth as long as his 2 star pupils, Roshi and Shen, continued their toxic rivalry. As a result, when given the chance to smoke the paradise herb with his students and their siblings, he agreed, as they all imagined a phoenix granting them immortality. They couldn't tell if this was a bad trip or not, and afterwards, they all agreed to never talk about it again. As Mutaito chewed out Roshi, he asked his former pupil if he's talked to his own pupils recently. Roshi ponders for a moment, shrugging his shoulders and stating that it's been a couple of decades, maybe. Mutaito barks into the phone once again, telling Roshi he's a poor excuse for a master, and that he needs to pay a visit to his students every now and then. His hermit lifestyle was really getting out of hand. Upon getting reprimanded by his own master, Roshi decides it's about time he pays Mount Poutsu a visit and check up on his star pupil. To his horror, he finds a destroyed home, a young boy grilling bear meat, and a grave for son Gohan. Goku introduces himself and tells the old man who he is, along with how Grandpa Gohan died. Roshi is very saddened to hear this, as he quietly mourns the loss of Gohan. Many thoughts run through his mind. If he had checked in on Gohan earlier, none of this would have happened. And this monster, he was worried about this giant monster that seems to have made these mountains his home. If it was strong enough to beat Gohan, then this boy was in grave danger. Roshi tells Goku that he was once Gohan's master, and that he'll offer to look after him as a way to repay Gohan. Goku is excited. He can't wait to train again. The monkey boy happily accepts and prepares to leave the mountain behind. They both pay their respects to Gohan's shrine one more time, as Goku makes sure to bring along his trusty power pole. For the next few years, Goku was raised by Master Roshi in the art of peace and war known as the turtle style. Goku wasn't a fan of how small the island was. What was he supposed to hunt now? Thankfully, Goku knew how to swim, and soon enough, he was bringing back giant sharks, barracudas, and even whales back to the island for dinner. Goku's strength, speed, and endurance utterly dumbfounded Roshi, but he made sure to put him through his extreme training nonetheless. Goku was able to pull off the Kamehameha, and even started practicing other turtle school techniques. Slowly, Goku's power grew and grew until eventually, he was given his very own weighted turtle shell. The young boy was able to settle into his new lifestyle, and he became much more than just a student to Roshi. He became the closest thing he had to a son. Before they knew it, several years had passed since Goku moved into the island. One day, Roshi and Goku are laying around a hammock near Kame House when a hover car starts to approach the island. A young girl steps out of the car, introducing herself as Bulma. Goku was amazed. He'd never seen a girl before. And what was that thing she was on? Was it some kind of flying monster? She asks the pair if they've ever heard of a place called Korin Tower before. Roshi's sleazy attitude immediately shifts to surprise. How did this girl know about that tower? With a smile on her face, Bulma begins to tell her story. She is spending her spring break away from school in order to meet God. She wants to figure out if the old legend of the heaven in the sky story she heard from a fortune teller is true. According to the legend, there is an enormous tower hidden deep within the forest, and if you reach the top and go even further beyond, you'll reach heaven, where God is waiting to grant you a single wish. During her research, she found out that the only living person to have ever climbed such a tower was the invincible Master Roshi. At first, Roshi corrects her, saying his master was in fact the first one to climb the tower, not him. Roshi elaborates that he's not sure if he's willing to disclose such information about the tower. Bulma shows him her panties, which is more than enough to convince him to draw her a map to Korin's tower. Before Bulma departs though, Roshi thinks that this could be the moment he's been waiting for. He offers to send Goku along with her as a bodyguard. Both Bulma and Goku are surprised, but Roshi tells the boy that this is a good opportunity to go see the world and experience more of what life has to offer. Bulma isn't so sure about this at first, but once she sees Goku punch a hole in her car door, she agrees instantly. Before they leave, Roshi suddenly remembers something. Something really important. He forgot to meet with the Ox King! Goku asks why he didn't see him earlier, as Roshi retorts that he was pretty busy raising him. He tells the kids to stop by Frypan Mountain and check to see if the yellow ox is doing alright for himself, which they happily accept. With one more goodbye, the pair fly off. Their first stop is Frypan Mountain, where they encounter the Ox King, who slices their hover car in half with his axe. Goku takes out his power pole and slams it against the Ox King's axe. A battle ensues, and both fighters realize just how similar their techniques are. When Goku starts to charge a Kamehameha, the Ox King realizes that he must be a Turtle School student. He drops his axe as he begs Goku to ask their master if he still has the Bansho fan. His castle is on fire, and the fan is the only thing that could possibly put it out. Goku accepts, calling forth his old friend, the Flying Nimbus. Bulma is completely shocked at what she's seeing, while the Ox King simply laughs. He's never seen someone ride that cloud before. Before the boy leaves, the Ox King asks Goku if he can also find his daughter Chi-Chi, who he had sent off earlier to find Roshi. Goku throws him a peace sign. He'll do his best. As Goku rides the Nimbus, he finds Chi-Chi as she kills a dinosaur, which impresses him. She sure was tough. Goku takes Chi-Chi along with him on the Flying Nimbus to get Roshi. She gets feelings for Goku almost immediately, but even in this timeline, Goku still doesn't have a clue. They arrive at Kame House, interrupting Roshi as he was in the middle of watching his favorite exercise video. He asks Goku why he's back so soon, as Goku tells him they need the Bansho fan. However, It's revealed that Roshi had already thrown away the Bancho fan because it had a coffee stain on it. Roshi thinks that maybe he should put out the fire himself, but then he looks at Goku. Nah, he's got this. Roshi tells his people that he should be more than capable of putting out the fire himself, as Goku snickers. Yeah, probably. Back at the mountain, Chi-Chi is reunited with her father, as Ox King asks where the Bancho fan is. Goku tells him they couldn't get it, but it's fine. He can put out the fire himself. Everyone is confused at first. How is he gonna do that? Goku stands up, focusing deeply as his muscles expand, ripping through his gi. Gathering all of his energy, he fires a full power Kamehameha, which puts out the fire and completely destroys the castle. Everyone is shocked at the amount of power Goku holds, as the Ox King wonders to himself if Goku could be even stronger than their master. Goku apologizes for blowing up his home, but the Ox King just laughs. It's fine. He's just glad that the fire is gone. They can rebuild his castle later. As Bulma and Goku prepare to leave, an anxious Chi-Chi approaches the boy. She asks Goku to marry her, and not really knowing what that is, he accepts. Afterwards, Goku and Bulma reach a desert, where they encounter the desert bandit Yamcha. The thief demands that they hand over their capsules or else, but Goku refuses. They need them to find that tower. Goku, who is full after eating a huge meal with the Ox King and Chi-Chi, is able to easily defeat Yamcha in their first battle. Yamcha finds out Goku was trained by Master Gohan and Master Roshi. The bandit gives up, realizing that not only is Goku a martial arts master himself, he also has a really pretty girl with him. Nervously, Yamcha gives him and Bulma directions, stating that they need to head north to the tundra to find the tower they are looking for. Bulma thanks Yamcha for his help, blowing a kiss his way that nearly kills him as the two adventurers speed off. After some time passes, Puar asks Yamcha if he gave him the right directions, and to his horror, he realizes he messed up big time. He didn't give them directions to Korin Tower. He gave them directions to Muscle Tower. That evil Red Ribbon army was gonna tear them apart. He heads off with Puar to Muscle Tower in order to catch up to Goku and Bulma, hoping that it's not too late to stop them from entering that tower. Goku and Bulma make it to Jingle Village, and despite the protests of the local villagers, they both enter Muscle Tower and start climbing it. Goku defeats the many army soldiers inside and Major Metallotron rather easily. After Goku kicks off Metallotron's head, Bulma remarks that she thinks she may have seen these robot designs before, but she can't quite put her finger on it. When they enter the 4th floor to fight the Ninja Murasaki, Yamcha and Puar arrive, and with their help, Goku is able to defeat the ninja and his brothers. Yamcha tries to convince Goku and Bulma that they need to get out of here while they still can, but his warnings fall on deaf ears. Bulma is gonna meet God no matter what, and Goku wants to see if there are any stronger guys in this tower. Yamcha sighs as Puar reassures him that he tried his best. The two join Goku and Bulma in climbing the tower. They soon encounter the intimidating Android 8, but they discover he's actually a nice guy who doesn't want to fight. Bulma was intrigued. This robot's AI must be incredibly advanced to act like a real person. He befriends Goku and offers to help them rescue the village mayor. The gang looks puzzled as Ader is taken aback. Weren't they there to rescue the mayor? Upon reaching the final floor, our heroes find General White holding the mayor hostage. White can't believe all his highly trained soldiers were defeated by a bunch of kids. He attempts to threaten the mayor at gunpoint, but he is easily defeated by a lightning-fast kick. However, the general activates a trap that sends the gang plummeting down the tower, where they find themselves face to face with the pink behemoth known as Bouillon. Yamcha and Goku try to attack the beast, but all of their attacks simply bounce off it. Goku decides that fighting this guy just isn't fun, so he stands before the monster as he waves his hands back and forth. Utilizing one of Master Roshi's secret moves, the Sleepy Boy technique, Buion falls into a deep slumber. The gang very quietly break through the ceiling with a Kamehameha and ascend upwards with the power pole. The heroes rescue the village mayor, and they reach the top of the tower, where nothing happens. What gives? This is when Yamcha nervously reveals that he accidentally gave them the wrong directions earlier, which angers Bulma. They risk their lives for nothing. Ader raises his hand, telling Bulma that he has a built-in radar that can take them wherever they need to go. He offers to go along with them on their journey since he feels that he owes them a debt of gratitude for rescuing him. Bulma snickers. He can join if he promises to let her take a look at his circuits after this is all over. Goku squeals with delight at a new friend joining the party as Ader sweats nervously. Using the Flying Nimbus, the pure-hearted Android 8 is able to join their quest as they head off to their final destination, Korin's Tower. Hello everyone, thanks for watching. Sorry if my voice sounds a little stuffy or strained. I'm currently fighting with COVID right now. I'm starting to feel a bit better, but I'm not 100% yet. Regardless, I still wanted to release this video on schedule instead of putting it off any longer. So this has been What If Martians Were in Dragon Ball Part 2. This series has been in the works for a real long time now. I've been working with What If Universe for the better part of 6 months, planning out this series, its lore, and the roadmap for the story going forward. It's such a different, unique take on Dragon Ball that we both really enjoyed, and it led to so many interesting ideas and scenarios. I mean, for one thing, there's no Dragon Balls, so no one gets a free get-out-of-death card anymore. I sure hope this doesn't lead to anything bad happening later down the line. For another thing, this is essentially a complete reimagining of Kami. We're really exploring his background, motivations, and the events in his life that are shaping the way he chooses to guard Earth, his new home. This part mainly dealt with Goku and his first adventure, but don't worry, we'll see more of Kami real soon. Hell, maybe Jon isn't the only Martian living on Earth. Thanks again to What If Universe for approaching me with this idea, and for editing these videos. You are seriously amazing, and I appreciate all the help you've given me for the last half a year or so. I'd also like to thank KattyGFX for creating this amazing new intro. It came out so much better than I could have imagined, and going forward, I'll be using it as much as I can for future videos. If you'd like to commission Katie for any YouTube intro or other graphic design needs, then I wholeheartedly recommend her. You can find her on Twitter at KattyGFX. Her link will be in the video description. One last thing, I'm sorry for not posting anything within the last few months or so. A mixture of lack of motivation and personal issues in real life made me shift my focus away from the channel. However, I'm back with renewed vigor and determination. Give or take COVID. I don't know if I'll go back to posting once a week again, but I will be posting at least 2 videos a month now. Expect another video coming out next week. This one will be a sequel to a much requested series. Take a wild guess on what the sequel will be in the comments down below. While you're here, why not subscribe? Go ahead and click the like button if you enjoyed the video, and ring that bell so you can get notified of any future updates. Okay, that was a lot of talking and I'm exhausted. I'm getting my sick monkey ass back to bed. As always, my name is Professor Chimp. Stay safe out there, and I hope to see you all next time.